Hello, welcome to a new video. In today's video, we're going to take a look at some secret buffs for the Open Great League. So today we're going to take a look at Pokemon that basically gonna be a little bit better next season while not getting a direct buff. None of those Pokemon really got like a move update or anything like this, but still they're going to have more play because of the meta shift that's going to be happening next season. And so, I hope you enjoy this type of videos. If you do, feel free to leave a like. You see this video is coming out a little bit later than I want to. Usually I want to upload at like 12 my time. Now it's mostly going to be like 2 my time. Main reason is because it took quite a long time to research a lot of the things here today as well. So yeah, today we're going to take a look at 10 Pokemon that are going to be a little bit better for you to run. And so we're going to move on right into the first one. This was actually one of the suggested Pokemon from some viewers as well down in the last video in terms of where I took a look at some secret nerfs of Pokemon that you maybe don't want to build for the new season. And here we're going to take a look at some Pokemon that you want to build for next season. This is going to be one of the Pokemon that I saw in the comment section as a suggestion. I do kind of agree with this one. This is going to be an interesting Pokemon here with Chesnaught, and you're going to see 2 or more Grass-type Pokemon on this list here today as well, because Grass-type Pokemon are going to have quite a lot of more play. We're going to have here, for example, Pokemon like the Bibarel, like the Electric-type Pokemon, especially where they mainly can't really do damage against Grass-type Pokemon, which is going to be great. We also have Pokemon like here, like Starmie. You might think, oh, Starmie is going to be such a good matchup against the Chesnaught, and then you're going to realize that the charge moveset of Starmie is going to do only really resisted damage unless you're running Ice Beam on it, which I don't think is going to be the most common one on it. And so, Starmie is going to struggle then with the charge moves against this Grass-type Pokemon, which makes it a very neutral matchup, or like even more of a positive one for Chesnaught, because both of you are going to do super effective damage with the Psywave and the Wine Whip, but at least Chesnaught is going to be able to pressure a little bit more with Frenzy Plant. As far as I know, the 0-on-1 shield scenario is actually something where Chesnaught is going to be able to win against Starmie, just the 2 shield scenario, because then the fast move adds up, is where Starmie going to win, making it not a bad matchup at all, and making this Pokemon a very interesting one as well here. Also, of course, for Pokemon like Steelix, while Steelix is going to have access to Psychic Fangs being super effective against you, the Thunder Fang is going to be resisted and you can do some super effective damage with Superpower. And we're going to see in today's video as well that Fighting type coverage moves are going to be very important for the upcoming meta. Speaking of Fighting type coverage moves, this is also one of the main reasons why I think that Malamar is going to have even more play next season. This Pokemon is going to be one of the hardest answers to the new Psywave variant of Starmie, but also going to be able to counter the Bibarel, and you see here only like the really good matchups for it. Well, funnily enough, there's actually, I think, the 0-shield scenario or something like this, where you're going to lose against the Galarian Corsola. You're going to also have decent play with Psywave and foul play against this Pokemon. And you have Fighting type coverage, which is going to be very important because like Pokemon like Diggersby as well as Steelix is going to be a little bit more common. Malamar has the benefit of being just very neutral against literally every single Pokemon in the meta. As you can see on the left side as well, this is still not against the directly new meta that's going to be happening next season, because P-Poke didn't update those stats yet. I was able to put though in all of the move updates already for our DC on the left side. And what we're gonna see as well is that every single matchup is neutral and winnable in like certain scenarios, which is really good for this Pokemon, allowing you to have a lot of play with Malamar. I'm very certain that Malamar is going to be one of the most common meta picks for the next season, and yeah, I'm kinda excited for this one. Like this Pokemon, very strong, again, very much worth building. And this is actually honestly the Pokemon I think got buffed a little bit like the most again, which is going to be Gastrodon, which definitely didn't need a buff. We see here already against the current meta, which again with the updated moveset, we're going to have here 24 wins and 11 losses, which is ridiculous. But then we're going to take a look at the Pokemon that got buffed. For example, the Alolan Sandslash doesn't want to get mud-slapped. The Starmie actually loses in every shield scenario against the Gastrodon, as far as I was able to see it, just because of Gastrodon's bulk. And Mudslap is going to be very great. But you know what's also great is when you have the water typing towards it as well. This is going to allow you to have a lot of very nice matchups against the current meta, allowing you, for example, to take neutral hits from Pokemon like Starmie with the Surf, and also the Surf of the Bibarel, which is going to be very important, making Gastrodon one of the best Mudslappers. I could put in here some more Mudslappers as well. I think Mudslap is going to be, again, one of the most important thing to have for the upcoming season. But as you see here as well, I feel like this is already enough to just showcase on how strong Mudslappers are. Here we're going to take a look now at most like the best grass-type Pokemon, and especially for the next season, as you're going to see here again, a lot of Pokemon that got buffed, going to allow you to run Serperior even more efficiently. This Pokemon is going to be a lovely against Pokemon like Starmie, the Bibarel, or now Thunderfang variant of the Steelix, which is going to be able to resist. Again, the Diggersby is going to be more common, and Wildfire Punch got buffed, which is going to help Diggersby out against the Serperior. You're still going to have a great matchup against this Pokemon as a Frenzy Plant, and Vine Whip is going to do so much damage. And then we're going to have the normal Stunfisk, which is coming up now as well, where Serperior is the hardest answer towards it, as every single hit is going to be resisted from the Stunfisk, while you do super effective damage, go for one Frenzy Plant and can Vine Whip it down afterwards, which is just very, very strong. So Serperior, I would assume, is going to be one of the #1 Pokemon for the upcoming season. This Pokemon is going to be insanely strong, and going to be a bit more underrated as well. I feel like not a lot of people are running Serperior right now, at least like the people that are maybe not as experienced right now. This Pokemon is actually really, really strong, and I would really recommend you to give it a try. Moving on, Primeape. I had in the secret nerfs Annihilate in there, but in the secret buffs I have Primeape in there. The thing is here for this Pokemon, the not having the ghost typing actually is kind of beneficial towards it for a little bit of time, but also the thing is as well, this Pokemon is just that Karate Chop is going to be more helpful than Counter on the Annihilate. While Annihilate usually have the better defensive typing, now with having the ghost type Pokemon and the ghost type damage of Astonish Crossola in there, this Pokemon is going to be a little bit weaker against the Primeape because the Astonish doesn't do super effective damage, just neutral, but also Karate Chop allows you to get to a Rage Fist a little bit faster, while Rage Fist is then not stab and does a little bit less damage in the beginning. You're going to be able to spam them so much faster against something like the Crossola, and that's also going to allow you to do something against Pokemon like Starmie. And why like two Pokemon that are supposedly being fighting type answers on this screen here basically as well, is mainly because you have so many Pokemon that are weak to fighting in the current meta, that there's going to be plenty of opportunities to farm down certain Pokemon and then allowing you to get like a Rage Fist up already, and then like Starmie cannot come into you as well, or like the other Ghost types here cannot go really into the Primeape as well, allowing you to have a lot of good times with the Primeape. I think Primeape is going to be one of the best Pokemon again for the next season, just because Rage Fist giving you great coverage for the season, and fighting types are going to be very, very great for the next season as well, because a lot of Pokemon got buffed that have weaknesses to fighting. Okay, and we're going to have here basically, though, yeah, Gastrodon, if you want to have it a little bit less clunky, we're going to have Whiscash here. Whiscash is going to have some other opportunities as well, which I actually forgot to talk about for the Gastrodon section, but you can talk about it here now, right now as well. Whiscash has scored, and also Gastrodon has Water Pulse, and I could see that this is going to be the coverage of choice, because I could see a scenario where Talonflame might be a little bit more common now as well, but also Gliscor got buffed, and I'm not too sure if Gliscor is going to be a Pokemon that a lot of people are going to pick up. I feel like it's not as great as it seems, but basically what this allows you as well with the water type coverage is just to hit those Pokemon for super effective damage, helps you out against Diggersby, helps you out against the Galarian the normal Stunfisk skill as well, of course. You're going to be able to resist the fast move of Bibarel, allowing you to also still do neutral damage with Mud Shot and Mud Bomb against the Bibarel. And then, of course, you're going to have like the Steel type Pokemon that you're going to counter anyway, making Whiscash one of the best picks that you can have for the upcoming season. Guzzlord is also a Pokemon that I saw a lot of people talk about, and we see even something like the Serperior in there as well. Well, Serperior didn't get buffed directly. Again, you saw it already earlier on. I think that's one of the best Pokemon for the upcoming season, just based on what got buffed instead, and you're going to be able to counter most of them with the Serperior. And as you can see here, Guzzlord is going to be such a great Pokemon for the upcoming season, allowing you to completely destroy the Starmies. You're going to be able to completely hardwall the Galarian Corsolas, as well as you're going to have a resistance to Electric, which is going to be very important for the next season as well, as you have also the resistance to grass. And so I think that Guzzlord is going to be one of the prime Pokemon to have, and even Pokemon like Primeape are not going to be able to really deal so much against it, because Dragon Tail is going to add up after a while. Of course, Pokemon like Azumarill, it's going to be very strong against you, but then again, you saw it in the video before for the secret nerfs that Azumarill was in there because of the electric type buffs that were happening, but also of other water type Pokemon that beat Azumarill being a little bit better, like a Starmie, like for example also the Bibarel. And here again, I only put in like the really good matchups on the right side, but there are so many very neutral matchups that you're still going to come up on top of usually. For example, even the Bibarel matchup, that this Pokemon is going to be one that you really need to have for the next season. I would imagine that Guzzlord is going to be a top Pokemon for the next season here, and one of the biggest secret nerfs, buffs, of course. Oopsie whoopsie, but we're gonna take a look now at the next one. We're going to have the Cresselia again next. This Pokemon is going to be also a Pokemon that's going to be very, very good. It's also a great Pokemon to combine with the Diggersby, which got buffed, but also it's a great Pokemon to counter Diggersby. And so as Diggersby got buffed, as Bibarel got buffed, as Starmie is buffed here, which has main damage output as well from the False move itself, while we have good coverage against this Pokemon with Chesnaught. So I would assume that for the next season, Grass type coverage and Fang type coverage is going to be very, very important for the meta. And as we will see here, Chesnaught is going to be great for the Pokemon that got buffed, but also going to be great for the meta that we're going to have. You already had Gastrodon on the screen as well earlier on, saying this is one of the best Pokemon for the next season. And again, I feel like the Cresselia is going to pick up in usage quite a bit. And also the Moonblast coverage is going to be very good because some Dark-type Pokemon gonna get a little bit more usage because of the Corsa and because of the Starmie again. And so Cresselia, I would assume, is gonna get a little bit of more usage again, even though it already picked up a little bit of usage recently. This Pokemon has so much potential for the upcoming season, and we can now move on to the next Pokemon. And again, I feel like Pangoro is going to be one of those ones that really benefit from the recent meta update. We're going to have so many Pokemon where Pangoro is good against. If you're going to take a look at the typing, being Fighting and Dark is going to be so great for the current meta. Having Starmie as one of those Pokemon that is going to do, again, Psychic-type damage, which is going to be resisted, while we do super effective damage with Night Slash, which we can spam with Karate Chop, it's going to be great. We have Bibarel, we resist the fast move, we do super effective damage. We have the Steelix, for example. Having Thunderfang, of course, just being Steelix more common, going to allow us to just one-shot them with a close combat. We have the Ghost type of Corsola, where we have Night Stitch again, and we're going to be able to resist every single hit. Pangoro, I'm telling you right now, is going to be one of the best Pokemon for the next season. You really need to have this Pangoro. Like, this Pokemon is going to be super overpowered. And yeah, I would assume that this thing is going to be everywhere again. And yeah, Pangoro, definitely, you need to build this one. And here we are at the final one for today. We're going to have Jumpluff here. Fairywind, Aerial Ace, and the Energy Ball is going to allow you to do a lot against especially a lot of the Pokemon that you saw already on the screen earlier on. Serperior, you beat. Gastrodon, you beat. And also against the new beta, you're going to be very, very, very strong. As we see here, the Diggersby, again, Diggersby got Fire Punch buff, which is going to be a little bit more awkward, but you're still going to be able to beat it with Energy Ball. We have Aurora Diggersby. You win it against Pokemon in any shield scenario with both the non-shadow and the shadow variant, which is really, really good. We have the, what's called the Stunfisk again. You're going to be able to beat this Pokemon as well. You had already Primeape on the list here today, which you're going to be able to beat. Pangoro, of course, we just had there. Malamar we had just had here. We had the Guzzlord already. Jumpluff beats them all. Jumpluff is a king for the next season for sure. Would recommend you to take a look at this Pokemon again as well. I think it's going to be great. And a lot of Pokemon that actually are good against it, like Toxapex. We're already in the Secret Nurse, which kind of happened as well with the Electric type buff, with a lot of Ground type Pokemon being very, very strong for the next season. And so Jumpluff kind of beats everything. And this Pokemon is here with 21 wins and 14 losses for a good reason, I would say. And this is going to be it for this video. I would assume that Jumpluff is going to rise in popularity as well. Hopefully this helped you out. And later on, we're going to take a look at some very solid cores, most likely for some buffed Pokemon for the new season. So we'll see you then. Bye bye.